Okay, so yesterday we had talked about, or whatever the last time you came to Algebra 2 was, we had talked about vertical transformations of functions. And specifically, we were looking at the, y. Whoa, how did that happen? Let's get rid of that. Oh my, everything is opening. Everything is opening. We were looking at what happens when y is equal to x squared. That's our parent function. We know that that's going to be like this. 2 will end up being 4. Negative 2 will also end up being 4. 3 will end up being 9. And negative 3 will also end up being 9. So we've got this little thing going on. Okay. And we got the curve going up like this and the curve going up like this. Okay, and that's our parent function, y equals x squared. And we said, well, what happens if you have something like y equals x squared plus 3? And we find out that, we don't even have to do any math. We can just move this guy up 3, move this guy and this guy up 3. Who's to say that these points are female or male? Let's move this gal up another 3 and this one too. And what we'll see is that we end up with the same graph, just up 3. Okay? So, and the nice thing about these vertical shifts is that they make sense. Plus 3 means it's going to go up 3, right? If you had y equals x squared minus 5, for instance, that would mean going down 5. The minus goes down, the plus goes up. So that's all very well and good. All right, let's see if I can back all this up without having to wreck my original thing here. Back up, 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 back up. Good. All right. So, but what if we want to do a horizontal shift? Horizontal meaning, of course, back and forth along the x-axis. What if we want to go back and forth? What if we want to do a horizontal shift? AKA horizontal translation. Well, it turns out something similar happens. We're going to make an adjustment to the equation, but instead of it being a plus or minus outside, just sitting there, what happens is the new one is going to be inside parentheses. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I were to say y equals x minus 2 in parentheses squared, that's going to be very different than if I said y equals x squared minus 2. And in fact, this indicates, the fact that it's in parentheses, okay, the fact that it's in parentheses indicates that it's a horizontal translation. Now, here's the crazy thing about horizontal translations. When it's in the parentheses like this, you end up going in the opposite direction of what you think. I would think that if it were x minus 2, I'd go to the left. But I'd be wrong, okay? You don't go to the left when you have the minus 2 in parentheses. You go to the right. And there's a very good reason for that. Because positive 2 minus 2 equals 0. And I'm worried about what is happening with the x. The x is the thing that I'm worried about. So even though there's a minus here and there's a minus 2 over here, the x is not minus. The x is actually positive because it's the opposite of this. Because when I have x being positive 2 minus 2 is 0. So I end up going to the right 2 spaces. This is a horizontal shift, horizontal translation to the right 2 units. That is what this minus 2 in parentheses means. This goes over 2 units. This guy goes over 2 units. This guy over here goes over 2 units. This guy, oh, there I go again, giving a male gender to all these points. This little lady over here goes over 2. This one goes over 2. And that's what you end up with. You end up with the same as the parent function, but everything is shifted over 2. Okay? And let's go ahead and grab our green and show that if I had y equals x plus 3 in parentheses squared, this would be a horizontal translation, okay? And it would be left 3 units, okay? I take this point, I move it left 3 units. I take this gender neutral point and I move this left 3 units, okay? This one goes left 3 units. This one goes 1, 2, 3 over here. This one goes 1, 2, 3 over here, okay? And then I've got this one going over 1, 2, 3, and this one going over 1, 2, 3. And then I end up, once again, same looking function as my parent function. If I were a better artist, anyway. But in this case, it's going that way, 3. So just remember, it's going to be the opposite of what you think. When you do x plus 3 in parentheses, you're going to the left. When you do minus 2 in parentheses, you're going to the right. And that is your horizontal translation.